Hi, I'm Lorelei Shamayo, and I'm here with Deni Luna. We're interviewing different readers and healers that are at the Conscious Wellness Expo this summer, July 22nd in Kent. So we're going to hear a little bit about Deni. So Deni, tell us, what are the different modalities that you practice? I understand you do a lot of different things.
I do a lot of different things. The most unusual thing I do is lip print reading. It's called lipsology, and there's only 8 of us in the world. So that means that if you give me a piece of paper with a kiss print on it, I can tell up to 200 different things about you. And it's amazing how spot on accurate it can be. It can tell things like if you're moving, if you're have a sarcastic sense of humor, what kind of occupation you're in, if you're open for change in your relationship. There's a lot of things that your lip prints can tell you. The scientific aspect behind it, it's researched for about 20 plus years and tens of thousands of different lip prints. There are 200 different muscles in your face, and each one of them connects to a different center of your brain. Each one of them impacts how you shape your mouth. So when you look at a kiss print, you're looking not necessarily at the person's lips, but at how it expresses itself on paper.
So the lips are just an expression of all these different things that are going on for the person, sort of behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And by kiss print, you said like they make a kiss face and then they kiss.
Yes, and so I can't coach them how they do that. That's part of the reading. But basically, they can use lipstick. I've had people use chocolate or chapstick, something clear, just so you can get an outline of their lip. And even with something like chapstick, it's amazing how much you can tell, because you can see the general size, the shape, where it's positioned on the paper, the different, prominent lines. If it's thicker in some areas of the lip print than others, which means that greater pressure is applied. So there's quite a lot to it that you would not expect. And I do a lot of that for entertainment with, companies like Boeing or Microsoft, Amazon. They will use this for entertainment. The other things that I do are more along the lines of traditional metaphysical things like mediumship, psychic mediumship, tarot, angel card readings, something where I can remote view into a situation and see an energy.
Wow. So you do so many different things. I guess, what are some examples of questions that people ask you?
The number one question is probably life purpose. Mm-hmm. And I see kind of a template for everybody. And if they're living up to what I see as their highest soul level. So that's the spot where your soul connects to the eternal part of you, which is a little star shape, actually, about a foot above your head, and you can see it as a star. I also teach people how to grow their own intuition, and there's this very sweet spot that's sort of heaven on earth, and that's where I like to take people, because that's where the synchronicity is. That's where the angelic communication comes in. That's where even people that they're having fights with, I'll see the high self for both people and see if maybe there's a higher lesson in what's going on. So it's kind of a soul imprint reading or an Akashic record reading. To me, energy is energy. And the way that the message comes in for each individual is very different depending on what's happening in their own particular life.
So a lot of people don't come to you for a particular modality. They come with a question, and then you bring whatever modality is really going to serve them, it sounds like.
Right, because I usually go with messages from their higher guidance, angels, guides, etc. And a lot of times people get their own messages, and it's in the form that they naturally would communicate with and love to engage in. So, for example, I had a woodworker, and his whole reading was in different scents, smells from different woods. So I'd say, birch says da 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 da, and it had a distinct smell, and he understood it because he worked with the woods. Other people might not have as developed a sense of smell, but it will come in through hearing. And so I'll get ancestors or sounds. Sometimes there'll be synchronistic sounds that just kind of come into being into the environment during the reading.
Oh, wow. So the information that you get, it's dependent on who the person is that's in front of you too, the way the information comes in. It's the way that
Yes. There's something else that comes in, where two or three are gathered, there's something synchronistic that happens. And that's the field of energy, the divination, source, God, creator energy, whatever you personally want to call that. It's pretty much the same throughout all ages and on all religions.
That's great. Well, and is there a tip that you'd like to share with everyone before we close up?
Probably to just know that they have the capacity to transform themselves and come into a really high state of joy. We couldn't even measure what we now know is the gamma brainwave state, and this is very recent. So people used to say, okay, meditate, let your brain slow down, and that was meditation. Now they say that's a type of meditation, but it goes much further than that. So practical meditation is advanced meditation, and that is throughout your life, you can incorporate these principles of awareness and joy and making things happy and blissful just in regular old plain daily life. So as an exercise, I would say do something like this with your hands, and this builds up the electricity between your hands, and you can kind of feel that building up. Your hands generate about 4 watts of electrical energy. And of course, the more healing energy, the more you work at it, they can get quite warm and quite hot, and sometimes sparks fly up, static electricity, that kind of thing. But then you want to take that energy and just kind of cleanse and imagine that white light, or sometimes it's golden energy that comes down and descends into everything around you. And that's a really quick way to tune in and to cleanse. It's the way that sages throughout time have said tune in, whether they were from an Eastern or Western tradition. That's the easy way. You can do it the hard way and struggle and say, oh, this is hard. I don't know if I'm meditating right. And that's like in St. Teresa's words, like pulling up buckets of water from the well one by one. Very difficult sometimes. But as St. Teresa said, you can do it the easy way and just imagine this light, this golden light just descending down. So that's a way that you can, the two components to one way to uplift and get more energy. This is one. And then the second part of that would just be to just imagine the energy just coming down and just be there, really. And it only takes half a second to imagine that, and you can be there.
That's lovely. Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your work. I'm looking forward to being there with you on Saturday, July 22nd, with about 100 other readers and healers and vendors. So come see us in Kent at the Conscious Wellness Expo, Saturday from 10 to 4 on July 22.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Deni.